I always have a lot of fun.
These are fun topics to talk about.
Talking. They are, dude. And ghosts is it's a fun one, dude. It's a big one. It's a fun one.
Well, I think,
Do you believe in ghosts, Nick?
yeah, I
Do
do.
you? I do too, dude.
I have some
100%.
good stories to share. Um, but what got me onto ghost hunting, and I think what's important about the ghost hunting topic is like life after death
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you're concerned about your existence or is this is as good as it gets, you live one lifetime, like go ghost hunting, experience a ghost
For
for your
sure.
first time, and you'll have a whole new outlook on life and everything. Um,
Do you remember your first ghost
Encounter,
encounter?
yeah, I
Like,
do.
do you,
Hmm.
dude? You gotta tell me your first ghost
This
encounter.
was, I would say, it's probably about around 2003, 2004. I was only one living at my house and got home from work. It's probably about 8 or 9 at night. I did some dishes, put them on the counter, let them dry. Uh, Tired, went to bed.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm the only one home. Was having trouble sleeping. I couldn't. I was taught. I was like, I'm gonna go downstairs and read. So I went downstairs, turned the lamp on. I looked at the clock. It was exactly 3 a.m. And I'm sitting there reading. A few moments go by, and my house is pretty warm. The heat had been on, and
Yeah.
also I got goosebumps on my left arm. I'm sitting on the left side of the couch. I got goosebumps on my arm. The hairs are standing up. I felt like I was being watched. Like someone was standing right
You
next to
just
me.
had that weird feeling,
Yeah,
like,
it was uneasy. I just felt like I was being watched and couldn't even really concentrate on what I was reading. Um, so after about 10 seconds after acknowledging like these goosebumps in my arm, a Tupperware bowl on my counter, I just done dishes, went flying across the room, like
no,
bounced, like it was sitting flat on the counter on a towel, drying.
no.
It, and I next thing I know, I hear it bounce a couple times across the floor and bang into the wall.
Are you serious, dude? That's crazy,
I turned every light on the house. Every light in the house was on. I was just like,
dude.
you
That's
know, just like adrenaline rush, searching the house, see if anyone was in there.
right.
Nobody was in there, so
Dive.
I slept the rest of the night with the lights on. But okay, but real quick, the next night, same thing
Oh,
happened. I went to
no
bed,
way.
um, same time. Was the only one home. Totally forgot what happened the night before, and couldn't sleep. Went downstairs to read. I noticed the clock was 3 o'clock on the dot. Again, second night in a row. I'm reading, and my stereo turns on.
No.
Stereo turns on to like an auxiliary channel or something. Or no, not auxiliary, an AM station. When I had it on auxiliary earlier, listened to a movie. So I just like
That's
that.
crazy.
Yeah, that was my first experience.
Dude, did I ever tell you
I
one of my
never heard
first
that
big
one.
experiences with like paranormal, dude?
I would love to hear that. Never
Dude,
told me this.
I was 19, 20 years old. I was living by myself in Springfield. I had a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And this trailer park I found out was located like on Indian burial grounds, dude. Like, and I got the place. I was renting it, and the one night, like you said, dude, I had my phone though. I had my phone out on the buffet. You walked in, and there's like a solid buffet with a mirror behind it and counter, cupboards above it, and there was a wall charger there. So I plugged my phone in. I had it laying on there, charging. And one night, dude, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, same time, just wide awake. I just woke up in bed, opened my eyes, wide awake. It's like, okay, this is kind of strange. And literally, like 5 seconds after I woke up, I heard my phone fall off and smack hit the floor. I was like, what the heck was that?
Oh
And
no.
I walked out and I picked up my phone, and there was no messages, nothing, no missed calls, no way it could have vibrated off. Like,
Right.
it was wild, dude.
Oh, I know you.
And in that same place, okay, like a few weeks later, I was laying in bed. I woke up middle of the night. I heard running down the hall, like dude, it was literal like footsteps down,
like coming
and
towards
then it
you.
just like stopped right at the doorway. Dude, it was the freakiest thing. Dude,
Did you sleep the rest of the night after
no, dude, it was wild, man. It was scary, dude. It was kind of disturbing. I was like,
Oh
what the
my
heck was that? But this
gosh,
was
yeah.
before I kind of knew about like spirits and you know what I mean,
Hmm.
ghosts and stuff like that. So I'm just like, whoa,
Right.
that's
Well, what I understand from what investigators and people talk, I believe they're right. It's people who passed away
yeah,
who are bound to the earthbound spirits. They're bound here. They couldn't go into the light because of either they are still attached to something here, like a loved one, or some material possessions they don't want to part with, or maybe something they'd done, like like a crime or something awful they did. They don't want to go to the light to be judged. But some of these spirits or beings, they just people that don't go into light, and they stay here, and they wander here until somehow they have some sort of realization
for sure, man.
and make it back. But my wife has a picture of her dad owned an old schoolhouse, and she is a designer and was walking around taking photos of this building because she wanted to have some rooms for reference for designing ideas. And when she got home later that day to look at the photos, there's two beings standing on the stairway, the stairwell. Um, you couldn't see any facial features, but it was obviously two beings, two people, in lighter colored clothing, standing on the stairs, just like kind of like, what's that lady doing? But
Like just watching, yeah,
watching, yeah.
dude. And I went in that place with you, man. And I got to tell you, man, and that's the first time actually that's the first time I ever learned about like saging and kind of clearing energy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you had brought some sage with you and some lavender or something like that to
Yeah, because
smudge
that
with.
that stuff can and will follow you home.
Yeah, and I was like, "What the heck is that?" You're like, "This is white sage." You're not like, "I'm gonna clear this energy before, so nothing attaches it." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Dude, that was awesome." That's when I first remember like
The Native
smudging.
Americans used the
Yeah,
white sage, and a
yeah.
lot of people
But I
laugh at that,
I
but
went in
it
there with
works.
I went in there with you, dude, and there was some disturbing energy in there. There was some crazy stuff
Yeah, when
going on in
you're
there.
when you're in a building, when you're somewhere all alone and it's quiet, and
Hmm.
you feel like you're being watched, or you got the goosebumps on your arm and the hair sting. Trust your instinct.
Trust your instinct,
You're
dude.
you're yeah, that trust your instinct because
Right.
something's nearby.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to take some white sage with you, dude. To clear it. Hold on, I got an antivirus. There it goes. All right. So yeah, man, ghosts. I've seen a lot of pictures. You know what I mean? I've had a few experiences, dude.
There's a lot of good pictures on the
There,
internet too.
there.
I think some of the interesting ones are the images people catch on their deer cam, their trail cam
Oh
photos.
yeah, dude.
That's I've seen some convincing ones of like just children or other stuff
Just
just
a,
walking through the
just
woods. Yeah,
walking through the woods, man. Some really bizarre stuff, dude. That's crazy.
I think after our UFO spotting night, we're gonna have to do a ghost hunt one of
I
these
think
nights
that's
too
a
for
good
everyone.
idea, man. Try to get some like recordings and stuff. You know what I mean?
EVPs, yeah, and
Yeah,
some
dude,
photos.
for
Yeah,
sure,
let's
dude.
do it.
Heck yeah, man. Where do you think a good spot would be? Like, do you? Is it? I don't
I don't
want.
know. Maybe we know someone that has a.
Yeah, like an old, like like what do you? What would somebody that's interested in going ghost hunting look for? Like to start out with,
Ah, that's a good question. You just
you
well,
know.
first of all, you don't want.
I've never gone like officially ghost hunting, dude. Like, you know, th-
I've never been ghost hunting. I'd love to do it.
I
I
want to do
base it
it.
off of I like that show Ghost Adventures on the Travel Channel, but I like the old school Ghost Adventures
Right.
shows. The new episodes are just they've ruined that show with
They've turned it into
the yeah
a
like
scripted show.
yeah
Yeah.
it's just like demonic, like this
Listen,
weird theme with weird noises and stuff. They've ruined that
li-
show, but you
listen,
just wanna you go in and
listen, friends. You
you
are
just be quiet.
going to get the full, authentic ghost hunting, non-scripted version when we do this. Okay, friends. This is gonna be, this is gonna be good, dude. I'm
I'm
gonna be
excited.
scared
This
out of
is
my,
gonna be
I'm gonna be squealing like a little girl. Ghosts come out. But, yeah. So What do you think? What do you
I
think?
think you would do.
Look up like local, ghost areas,
I think the older house you want to start. You want to pick like an older house with a
right?
more of a history. Um, that have had more people come and go, and um, they've had some more traumatic,
Things happen,
yeah,
right?
like murders or
Right.
deaths or
I'll tell you
something like
what.
that.
There's
Unfortunately,
Yeah, there's a place
I'm
around
already getting
here.
nervous.
There's a place. You've probably heard of it, Gudgeonville Bridge, dude. And if you look it up, it's
Yeah.
been a ghost hunting place. They've had quite a few paranormal investigators come in there. And I don't know the last time you were down there, but dude, there's a creepy vibe down there too. And the old bridge that was there was a covered bridge, and the
Mm-hmm.
legend goes is back in the 1800s, a guy they were coming down it's in the bottom of a gorge. Okay, and there was an old wooden bridge there. It was built in like 1850 something. And legend goes, a guy came down with a cart and a donkey, and the donkey stopped on the bridge and went across the bridge, and so he whipped the donkey to death, and it died. And I've have friends that remember the bridge, and they specifically remember like parking on the bridge, and you shut your car off, dude. They could hear like the horse hooves coming across. And there's a couple people that I know locally, their car was literally like shoved forward, like, and there's nothing or nobody around,
Right.
like it jerks forward like something hits it.
Interesting.
A lot of interesting things down there, man. But the bridge isn't there anymore. It got burned down by some punks.
I remember that. That
Yeah,
was sad. That was a beautiful
yeah,
bridge.
it really was. But I still feel like the vibe down there is kind of, you know there
Well,
was.
people can manifest that too when you get a
True,
bunch of
true.
people, saying
Yeah,
it has that history,
right.
but you never know that area is it's an older area down there.
It
So,
is.
but um, we'll have to find definitely an
Yeah, we're open to
older house,
suggestions
something
too. Is there a
preferably
specific?
where no one lives there. We can just
Yeah, yeah,
won't disturb
yeah.
anybody.
We're not looking to disturb
Yeah, if
anybody's.
there's any suggestions out there, let
Yeah,
us
dude,
know.
let us know, man.
We'll definitely we'll get some
Because
recorders
I'm
and
totally into it, dude. I'm ready to go like on a ghost hunting adventure, for sure, dude.
I've had in one experience I had a ghost touch my face once. It was real
Really?
weird. Yeah, I was at the kitchen table.
When was this?
It was probably about 3 4 years ago. I
Oh,
was
so
at the kitchen
not
table
not.
just reading. My wife was on in the living room reading a magazine, watching TV, and we had felt something was in the house earlier because you can tell when there's a spirit in the house. Your energy levels are you feel lethargic. You don't
Hmm.
feel like yourself because you kind of taking on the vibe or the thought,
Right.
the emotions of the spirit in the house, um, and this was winter time, so I sit at the table and I remember looking up and something made me look up. I just look up and it felt like I got clobbered in the face with a spider web. I started like reaching for my face to like clean this I thought was a spider web. There was nothing there. And
Huh.
then another thing you could tell, but it was cold. The reason why I knew it wasn't a spider web after a while is it was like a cold wind went over my face too after the spider web because usually where the temperature changes wherever a
Yeah.
spirit is, it's a colder air, and I'm pretty convinced that like it was like touching my face trying to get my attention because I was looking down reading.
That's crazy,
Yeah,
man.
that was wild. And another experience I heard one. Um, my wife was with me. We just laid down to fall asleep, and we just said goodnight, and we're both laying there. And it's like when you both say goodnight, and you're both laying there, and the house is just quiet,
Yeah.
and you're slowly fading out or falling asleep, and we hear like something,
Nuh-uh.
like try to get our attention, like, hey. Well, I heard it clear as day, and I just froze, and I was waiting for my wife to like acknowledge that she heard that, and several moments went by. I didn't say anything, and she's like, "Did you hear that?" And I said, "Yep."
Oh,
And she's like,
nuh-uh,
"What did you
dude.
hear?" I said, "Someone said hey," like right in between us, like it was standing above us, and
That's
immediately turned the lights on
that's
and
that's freaking nuts,
tried to do a
dude.
clearing. But yeah, you can tell when when they're nearby because you take on their emotions. There's Coast to Coast AM has some guests that do some really good informative ghost episodes.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm excited just to get some real
Heck yeah, I want to get
pictures
some.
and audio
Dude, we're
for
gonna have
people
to
to look
do
at.
that. I know, dude. I That would be an adventure, dude. I'm
Another one to
excited.
add to the list.
Dude, dude, you know what I think it is, man? Dude, I think ghosts are like, because I feel like there's different dimensions. You know what I mean? There's like our dimension where you're Nick and I'm Ken,
Mm-hmm.
but I also feel like there's another dimension. You know what I mean? Like parallel universe type of stuff. You know what I mean?
Like another
Like
timeline.
another timeline. Like, what if you and I right now are ghosts in like another dimension, dude? Have you ever thought about that? You know what I mean?
If
Like, what if we're,
anything's possible,
what
it's an
if we're
infinite
ghosts?
universe.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't know, man. It's just crazy to think
It
about. Yeah, I love thinking about stuff like that. You know?
there's kind of reminds me of a story where uh, you ever hear about when that one in New York City, busy street downtown, all of a sudden this guy in like wearing like 1800s style clothing just appeared out of nowhere in the street and
Yes.
got ran over by a taxi.
Yes.
That was a real event. You can research and find. They found some sort of identification card on the guy. It wasn't like modern day driver's license, but back then you had um, deeds, or you had information you carried with you back in the 1800s, and they were able to find this guy's name and research that he did exist in the 1800s, but just appeared all of a sudden out of nowhere in the streets. That kind of
That's great.
reminded me of that
Dude,
story.
dude, that's nuts. I know, and that's something I kind of want to talk about a little bit now that you brought that up. It's like time travelers, dude. Have you seen the pictures of like, and some of them might be fake, but a lot of them I think are real, man. And it's crazy. The smallest things, like, have you seen the picture of like back in the 40s? There's like the lady holding the iPhone. You know what I mean? Just like
Time
in,
travel. Yeah, there's a
there's
famous picture of a guy standing in the background of a boxing match from like
taking a
the
picture with a phone or
with an
something.
iPhone,
Yep.
smartphone or whatever. Yeah.
Dude, what's up with that? That's so crazy. I love it.
It's
I
I
love it.
know
Like the
that it
thought of
gets you
time,
thinking.
it really does, man.
Here's an interesting one.
Like the lookalike pictures, like the Brad Pitt picture from like 1800, where then there's a picture and they
Kind of like a
look, yeah,
reincarnation
they look
episode.
identical. Like, dude, who knows, man?
Well, here's a cool one is I don't know if you've heard of Project Pegasus. That was a time travel.
No, I don't
Um,
think so.
that was Project Pegasus. I think that was time travel experiments that our government did. And this one guy, he goes on to Coast to Coast AM talking about how when he was a kid, he was recruited in. His father worked on this time travel projects. Well, they would use these kids. They'd send kids back in a time because um, because the kids are more innocent and they they didn't stand out when you sent them back in time. You know what I mean? And so he was sent back um, to. He was never told what time period or whatever. His job was just to report back what he saw. And in the primitive days of the time travel, I guess when they'd send somebody somewhere, you wouldn't have any clothes when you arrived because they weren't able to tune that in or figure that out how to send the fabric through. It was just like
Right.
the human.
It's like Terminator 2, where Arnold Schwarzenegger,
I
appears.
never saw that
You
movie.
never saw that, like the beginning of the movie. He's like butt ass naked. He like, and like this like electric ball like just appears, and he like stands up. You've never seen T
I'd
two?
never
Oh
seen
my
that.
god, man!
I
Then
think I'm gonna have to
the
because it
scene.
sounds like there's a lot of disclosure
Oh
in
man,
that.
the scene where he goes in the bar and he like gets the guy's leather jacket, motorcycle by four. Dude, you got to check it out. It's great. It's
I will.
great.
I'll watch that this
But
week.
but yeah, that's
But anyways, he was sent back in time, and uh, he arrived naked, and this guy came by on a horse and buggy, and asked him what he was doing. You know, like, why don't you have any clothes? Where are you from? This or that. Well, the guy gave him a jacket, a shirt, pants, and some shoes, and because he was a kid, none of it fit. So um, he arrived just outside of town, of this little town, and he saw there's a bunch of people gathering. So he walked into town to see what was going on, and he's looking around, and he they sent him back to the Gettysburg Address. He
Really?
arrived supposedly to this period of time. Well, whatever they, it was time for him to come back. I don't know how that works, how they retrieve him or whatever, but he returned back and he told people what he saw. Well, he was saying in the interview with George Norrie that he mentioned how they found a picture of that time period in a museum or somewhere in history, in a historical society or whatever. And sure enough, there's a picture of him in the background. There's a picture of this little kid with a shirt, pants, and shoes that don't fit him, standing in the background in the Gettysburg Address somewhere.
Nuh-uh.
And you can look that up on the
Nuh-uh,
internet. I wish I
dude.
knew his name, but
Nuh-uh.
he's part
That
of
is
Project Pegasus.
that's crazy, dude.
Boy, isn't there just so much wild
Dude,
stuff out there? I wish we could.
I feel like, we don't even know like a sliver. You know what else blows my mind? The fact that only like was it, like 6% of our ocean's floor are mapped. Like we don't even like know our entire planet yet. Like there's so much more going on in history. Dude, yeah, it's mind blowing, man.
Don't I mean
It's
that's don't even get us started on the inner Earth
oh
caverns and
dude.
stuff they're
Oh,
finding.
I know.
There's so many cool topics out there. No one's talking about
No,
them.
we're talking about it, man. We are talking about it. There's gonna be plenty more episodes. This was a quick one. We wanted to talk about ghosts. We talked about time traveling a little bit. I loved it, dude. I loved it. And stay tuned for the next one, guys, because there are so many topics. There's so much more going on in the universe than we could ever even imagine. You know what I mean? So stay tuned for more episodes. This is Conversations with Kenny, Swordfire X5.